In the hallowed halls of independent media, where the sanctity of free thought is supposed to reign supreme, we now find ourselves face to face with a chilling revelation brought to the surface by none other than the unapologetically outspoken Vaush.
Falling to Polymarket. You know, I get pitches from them, and they're minions, respectfully to the people who have made pitches to me while being a minion of the Polymarket. The Peter Thiel political gambling site that's been folding a bunch of content creators in. You know, a bunch of people are being sponsored by them now. All of it goes right up to Peter Thiel. Yeah, Benjamin. Oh, gambling? It's everyone. The Young Turks have been got. Everyone's been got. It's the Polymarket. I just said it's a political gambling site. I mean, they do a lot of stuff, I guess. They're building... I have a feeling that within a few years, a significant portion, both left and right, of online political content creation is going to be sponsored or owned by the Polymarket. It's going to be like one gigantic, you know, octopus with an arm in every channel. Any advice on avoiding becoming too cynical? Seems so hard to exist these days without finding out someone you heard in a podcast is actually a grifter. Just watch all of my content, since I'm the only non-grifter in the space. It's pretty much the only way. It is this way already with YouTube Sports. Yeah, but the problem with the Polymarket isn't just that it's political gambling. It's that it looks like a significant amount of the so-called independent political punditry online is all going to be owned or sponsored by a massive, shadowy, you know, company that is essentially controlled by a fascist billionaire, which would be not good. Yeah, it's the consolidation of media power. I mean, they got all of radio and TV. Eventually, they have to get all the internet, too. The fascist who owns J.D. Vance, yeah. I'm nothing if not authentic, Smolchan. Yeah, no kidding, Benjamin. Kyle said independent media is worse than mainstream media. And in a lot of cases, yeah, that is true. Well, I get everything on time, Glenn Greenwald. Or Green Glenwald. That's hard to say. Yeah, Thana. I'd like to believe that, and I'd like to keep that going for as long as possible. God willing, if I ever do accept the sponsorship, it's for something totally innocuous, you know? No, it's such intention at the moment, though. Black Rifle Coffee? True. I mean, dude, in terms of, like, how morally wrong it is, being sponsored by, like, Raid Shadow Legends is 50 times better than being sponsored by the Polymarket. Are you kidding me? Gacha games are pretty low down on the evil totem, like, you know, on the scale compared to shadowy consolidation of independent media from a billionaire, like, techno-fascist. Not a buzzword, it's a company, nuts. Gacha, G-A-C-H-A. White people happy. This is embarrassing, Benjamin. How much do you think TYT cost, Peter Thiel? $5. Wait, who bought TYT? Why do I bother talking when no one listens to me? I know why, because you're not really lit. You're playing, like, video games on your other monitor. I get it. I've done that, too. I get it. I do feel a bit out of it, though. Not right now, not physically. I just mean a lot of bad signs on the horizon. Not for me, for your dumbass. Feels like you're going to see a lot of your preferred independent content creators have sponsored by the Polymarket, opening on all their videos. Don't mind me, I'll just be over here being the last vestige of genuine, authentic, independent media. That's fine. I love talking myself up like this, you know? Until you're offered one clothing sponsor? Yeah, maybe. Let me read donos. Then we're turning on Elden.
This is no mere scandal, no trifling dispute between rival YouTubers, oh no. This is a full-blown incursion upon the very heart of independent political discourse, orchestrated by none other than the techno-oligarch extraordinaire, Peter Thiel, through his latest weapon, Polymarket. Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves, for we are about to embark on a journey through the twisted corridors of manipulation, influence, and the calculated consolidation of media power. Picture this, Peter Thiel, a billionaire with hands not just in the tech industry but in the ideological machinery of politics, now setting his sights on the Wild West of independent media. The method? Polymarket, a political gambling platform, wrapping its tentacles around the throats of content creators, slowly but surely turning them into mouthpieces for Thiel's grand vision of fascistic dominance. Vaush, ever the vigilant sentinel, has blown the whistle on this corporate infiltration, exposing how Polymarket isn't just another platform. No, this is the Trojan horse, the unholy vehicle through which Thiel seeks to commandeer the freewheeling world of political punditry. And the real kicker? It's working. Content creators, once bastions of independence, are now being folded into Thiel's empire of influence. The landscape is shifting, my friends, and we stand on the precipice of an era where independent thought is no longer free, but bought and paid for by the very entities it was meant to challenge. Let us not mince words here. Polymarket is the octopus, with arms extending into every corner of online political discourse. From the left to the right, it matters not, content creators are being ensnared by sponsorships and deals, all of which trace back to the dark core of Thiel's operation. Even the young Turks, once the vanguard of progressive media, have been ensnared in this insidious web. The independent media ecosystem, a space once heralded as the antidote to corporate-controlled mainstream news, is now being consumed by the very forces it once opposed. But wait, it gets even darker. Vaush, ever the truth seeker, reminds us that this isn't just about money or sponsorships. This is about the consolidation of media power on a scale that we haven't seen since the days of television monopolies. Thiel, with his fingers in every pie, is playing a long game. He's not just buying influence, he's buying the future of discourse. The very platforms where we once sought refuge from corporate interests are now at risk of becoming echo chambers for the oligarchic agenda, where the lines between genuine opinion and paid-for propaganda blur beyond recognition. And what of the creators themselves, these brave souls who once prided themselves on their authenticity and freedom from corporate strings? Vaush sees them for what they've become, pawns in Thiel's grand game. Gone are the days of true independence, now, it's all about who's cutting the checks. As more and more creators are lured into the clutches of Polymarket, the content becomes less about truth and more about towing the line of their unseen benefactors. The algorithm, once a chaotic force of nature, is now a calculated tool, pushing sponsored narratives into our feeds. Vaush's critique cuts deep into the soul of the independent media movement. He paints a grim picture of a future where left and right alike are shackled by the same corporate interests, all masquerading behind the facade of independent content. The political spectrum becomes irrelevant. What matters now is allegiance to the hand that feeds. And who holds that hand? Peter Thiel, the master puppeteer, pulling the strings from the shadows as he consolidates his influence over every corner of the internet. But let's not gloss over the most insidious part of all, the normalization of this trend. As more creators sell out to Polymarket, it becomes harder and harder to distinguish between genuine thought and bought opinion. The public, already jaded by years of misinformation, begins to accept this new reality, where every podcast, every video, every article comes with an invisible price tag. Thiel doesn't need to control all the media, he just needs to control enough of it to shape the narrative. And Vaush, in his relentless exposure of this machination, sees the writing on the wall. Yet, amidst this chaos, there is hope. Vaush stands as one of the last holdouts, a voice crying in the wilderness of compromised content. He reminds us that not everyone has sold their soul to the corporate machine, that there are still creators who value truth over profit, integrity over influence. But even he knows that the battle is uphill. As more content creators fall into the thrall of Polymarket, those who resist are marginalized, pushed to the fringes of relevance. What we are witnessing, my friends, is the slow but steady erosion of independent media as we know it. The very forces that once made this space so vibrant so free, are now being co-opted by the same corporate overlords that we sought to escape. And at the center of it all is Peter Thiel, grinning from his shadowy perch as he watches his empire expand. In conclusion, Vaush's expose is not just a warning, it is a call to arms. If we are to preserve the sanctity of independent thought, if we are to prevent the complete corporate takeover of online media, we must remain vigilant. We must hold our content creators accountable, demand transparency, and resist the allure of easy money from shadowy sources. For if we do not, we risk losing the very thing that made independent media worth fighting for in the first place.